Hold on a second, there's two things here now, Hugh. Right, first of all, in relation, I'm not anti-cyclists. I'm anti-bad cycling and people who drink red lines. Even coming in here this morning, I was counting, when I was sitting at the traffic lights in my car, I was counting the amount of cyclists that were going through red lights regularly. Now, I have one red light there was 7 just went through it.
Okay.
Right, I'm just saying that's just regular. So what I'm saying is that, and by the way, this has been, research has proved that I'm right on this issue. What I'm saying is, you cannot have a situation where you have cyclists running red lights. You cannot have a situation where you have cyclists cycling and footpaths where visually impaired people, women and men with buggies, and young children going to school in the morning. I saw a young fella being thrown up on the air by 2 cyclists recently, and a 6-year-old with his dad. So what I'm just talking about public safety here. I'm not talking about being anti-cyclist. But go back to your question. Yes, I think conditions have to improve around the city for cyclists. I think that it's very essential. I agree with Eamon and Ryan, but at the same time, it never excuse bad cyclists and rules of the road. And like that, if I do 60 in a 40-mile zone, I get 2 penalty points and I'm fined €80. I'm just saying to people is, we should look at the examples of good practice in countries like Germany, where all the cyclists obey the rules of the road, they stop at the red lights, they get on with their lives, and there's no big issues, and the health safety. We also have a major problem with public safety issues, where at the moment, and the road safety authorities report is the deaths of cyclists and injuries have gone up in the last year. And I'm very concerned about that. So cyclists, number one, have to be more responsible, but number two is, yes, we as a society, and as a former city councillor, I've always pushed with Councillor Jamie Farrell for proper facilities for cyclists.
Targeting the most vulnerable people in society isn't a good idea politically or morally.
Yeah, but see, sometimes, Hugh, they get away with it. I mean, well, if you just take special needs education and the services, and I mean, they tried the JET thing, but they got caught publicly on the disadvantaged schools thing, and they had to roll back. But there was loads of minor cuts there. If you have you see, we're a minority. Parents of children with disability are a minority in the education system. Like when my daughter was going to St. Bridget's School in Killester, she was the only girl with Down syndrome in the whole school. So we're kind of scattered a bit, so we don't figure on the Richter scale. But the other thing is, the important thing to remember is that in relation to services for adults with disabilities, these are people in residential and respite places and all that, they've been cut by 15%. I've been saying that in the Dáil for the last 4 years, and nobody's taken a hit, and Kathleen Lynch has been kind of looking around, how come this is happening? Now, they're going to stop it this year, but I mean, over the last 4 years, they've taken 15% cuts. I actually like being a public rep. And I like going into my office in Journey Carney, my constituency, often talking to people and listening to people, and then trying to do things in the Dáil. But I get a great buzz out of it. It's a job that I love. I get up every morning, and you just mentioned there the time of Anne died. It's the one thing that kept me sane after Anne passed away, because my daughter said to me, "One thing, Dad, about you love your day job," and that kind of, because I get a positive energy from it and I enjoy it, and that actually kept me going as well. So the answer is, it's just I love the job, I love what I'm involved in, and I enjoy it very much, and I just would like to be involved in public life, and I enjoy the party in Dáil Éireann has asked me at some stage. Yeah, it's gas.
Really?
No, all of them, yeah, okay. Right across the board.
Why not?
You see, I'm too much of a maverick.
Okay.
I am too much.
Mavericks in political parties in this country.
Yeah, but they don't survive, or they get into trouble, or they spend they're stressed anytime I meet them at the backbenches. I find them. So I'd be too much of a free spirit politically and personally. I like the space I'm in as an independent. I like to make my minds up on different decisions. We'll say all the legislation in what I really want to do in my heart. And I just find that if I was in a political party, I'd be too enclosed, too controlled. I'm not like that. That's the kind of space I'm in, and I enjoy being an independent. And I'll never, ever, and this is on the 100%, join a political party.
Okay.